welcome to my channel. This is Kenyan Baby Mama. This is a space where we inspire and share so that we can all become better Kenyan baby mamas with the help of our Kenyan baby daddies, of course, where possible. Cool. So in my introduction video, I promised you that the next vlog I'd do was on custody issues. Now, when it comes to custody, the law defines custody as the parental rights and duties as relates to the possession of the child. And so the person that gets custody is basically the person that is in charge of that child in every aspect. Like they're the primary caregiver, they're the ones that live with them, they make most of the decisions where that child is concerned, etc, etc. We have two types of custody. We have joint custody, where both the dad and the mom are influential and they have a right to the child's well-being and the rights and duties that accompany that. And then we also have sole custody, where a parent argues that they should be given all rights to that child. So I'll say from the beginning, it is my strong belief, and most people will agree with me, that it is in the best interest of every child to grow up with a mother and father. And even in those situations where that child cannot be in the same home with both parents, they should be able to have access to both parents, which is what I have been doing with my baby daddy. We have a child together. We still make decisions pertaining her together. In Kenya, mothers tend to get custody. Okay, first of all, it is advisable that before you go to court, try and agree on custody with your ex, with your baby daddy. Sit down and agree on custody issues that you don't have to go to court. But there are other avenues. In the case that you're not agreeing on how often the other person, the baby daddy, should pick the child, or how often they should spend time with the child, etc., then you can do mediation. There are court-appointed legal experts and lawyers who can help you through the mediation process so that you can find an amicable way to deal with the custody issues that you're having. However, if it gets to a point where you completely cannot agree, then maybe the next best option would be to go to court. Now, if you go to court, certain things are likely to happen. Number one, if the child is under the age of 16, chances are, if the mother applies for sole custody, they're likely to get it. They have had, especially the younger the child is, the higher the chances of the mother being given full custody. Because in Kenya, there is that presumption that a mother is the best caregiver and the one who understands the needs of the child best, especially for the younger children. So chances of a mother getting sole custody in Kenya when the kids are very young are very high. However, the court does not just look at that. The court also considers, one, if having the baby daddy in the picture is going to, if you can demonstrate that it's going to cause harm or has the potential of causing any harm on the child, then you'll probably be given custody. But if it can be demonstrated, they look at many things. They look at, one, is the child exposed to any harm when both parents have custody? If that's not the case, then chances are you'll be forced to still have joint custody. And even if as a mother you'll be the primary caregiver, the court can rule that the child's father is going to be in their lives and they're going to have visitation rights and etc, etc. Then the other thing they look at is ability to provide. Like like in Kenya, a lot of women, once they get married and they start having children, most of them do make the decision, or as a couple you make the decision, that she'll stay home and take care of the family, and he goes and makes money for the family. So when you divorce, there's a good possibility that he's the one that's making most of the money. Maybe you don't even have a job at that time and you're not able to take care of these children. The court also considers that, because again, if you're splitting and he's the one that is going to be again forced to pay for everything for the children, then it shows that yourself, you want to have sole custody, but you're not in a position to provide for these children. So in that case, the court can even decide to have the children go with the father. I have a friend who, former neighbor of mine, many years ago, lost her children to the baby daddy because they could not agree on custody. They went to court and the man was very wealthy and he had taken care of the family all through, and there was no evidence that he was abusive or he was an irresponsible father, and the father was actually given full custody and Hash was just being given visitation. I remember the kids used to be dropped to her house on the weekends, and one of the main reasons is because they demonstrated that it was demonstrated that she was not in a position to take care of the children's needs, and they had already become accustomed to a certain kind of lifestyle. So the father got full custody and she got visitation until way later when the kids were, I think, in high school. That's when they started living with the mother. So you have to think about these things as a woman. Even as much as the law favors the woman in Kenya, there are things that the court will consider. So don't assume just because the kids are young and you're the mother that you're going to automatically get full custody. It does not work like that. They also consider the wishes of the child. There are times when I think he does that a lot. He texts me when I'm vlogging. It's like I didn't even tell him I'm vlogging. I don't know how this happens. So yes, like I was saying, that the court also considers the wishes of the child and the wishes of the parents, grandparents, foster parents, and any other person that has been influential in that child's life. Because when you go to court with your ex, sometimes it's not clear who should be given custody. Maybe there's a bit of a demonstration that you're both a little bit irresponsible or both a little bit unable to take full responsibility of these children. And so in that case, the court also might consider the wishes of the child. And that is one of the most traumatizing things I think you could expose or force your child to go through. Like having to go to court and say if they want to be either live with mommy or live with daddy. I really wish that would never happen to any of you, because it's a very traumatizing. Let me tell you something, and I see this even with my child, I see this with my partner's children. At the end of the day, every child wants to be with mommy and daddy together. For them, the semantics of that relationship, they don't understand about relationships and issues that come with relationships. No, they just know they love mommy and daddy and they want mommy and daddy together. So getting to a point where you're forcing your child to be called in court and testify who they want to live with is just too traumatizing. I would highly recommend against it. I would recommend that you two just find a way to figure these things out. Is the presence of this parent going to cause more harm than good to the child? And if that's the case, like in the case where there are men who are, for a lot of women in Kenya who have separated with their spouses, one of the things usually is domestic violence. And usually when domestic violence occurs, it extends to the children. You know those men who go home drunk at night, they beat the wife, they beat the children, and so even the children become terrified of them. And when you go to court and there's evidence that this man has been abusive to the wife and the children, the court is most likely going to give the mother full custody, because then there is obvious demonstration that having those children with the father is going to expose them to harm or potential harm in the future. The other thing that the court considers is available support system. Now, as a mother, you might not have money. You might be jobless at the time of divorce, and so you don't have a job to take care of the children. And the father is some rich tycoon somewhere. He's some rich person. He's had all this money, and for him taking care of those children is easy peasy. However, the court also considers, do they have the right support system to help them bring up these children? Because parenting is beyond just paying bills and school fees and all the other things. Parenting requires a lot of support system. Remember, these children, you need to be in charge of their emotional, physical, psychological, spiritual, and all other well-being. So you can't just assume because you have money as a dude, you're going to automatically get full custody. If you can demonstrate in court that the mother does not have the financial stability, but they have a good support system, so maybe they're living home with their parents and the parents are in a position to help even with school fees and all those other things, and should the man abdicate his duty, or should he pass on, or should something happen. So if you can demonstrate that in court, then as a woman you will get full custody of those children, or at least joint custody. The other thing that men don't understand, and this is it's tricky because legally, even when a woman is given full custody, where she determines even when you're going to see your children, you're still obligated by the court of law to give support to those children because they are your children. Now, that one is a bit tricky because I think a lot of women take advantage of this and they frustrate men's efforts to try and have established relationships with their children after divorce. In a lot of cases in Kenya, when people separate, there is no structure when it comes to custody and how they're going to be seeing their children. So you find the woman just making just that, they just decide today, yeah, I'll let you see the child. Tomorrow, I don't feel like, no, we have plans. No, you come the other week. I just don't feel like seeing you in my compound today, which I think is very unfair. Women need to realize that emotions aside, feelings aside, every child needs to grow with their father and mother if they are both there and both willing to be in their lives. I'm giving that disclaimer because I also realize and recognize that in Kenya we have a lot of deadbeat dads. Let's just face it, it's the truth. And so these deadbeat dads, what happens is that they will impregnate you, they will abdicate their duties completely, they will go mteja, change numbers, go start new lives, meet other women, have more children, live their lives, and then 10 years later, or whatever number of years later, or months later, this dude shows up and all of a sudden now he wants to play dad. Dudes, it doesn't work like that. Even I would not allow you to come into my child's life, just to come and confuse them and shake them to the ground, because this child has already become accustomed to knowing that there is no father, and then all of a sudden you show up, and then the worst part is where you show up, you come, they get excited that now they have a daddy, and then you disappear again. Do you know the emotional, psychological trauma that you leave these children with when you behave like that? And sadly, and I'm not defending it, I'm not saying this because I'm a woman, no, this is just the truth. I mean, Kenyan baby mamas will agree with me because these are the statistics. It's the truth. Just go outside there and talk to women, you will find out it's the truth. Most men who have children in Kenya are deadbeat dads. And so if you are a deadbeat dad, carry your cross. I'm sorry, carry your cross. If the woman is going to be forgiving and allow you back into that child's life, style up. Don't waste that opportunity. Style up, become the father that you're supposed to be. So that's what about custody. And before we finish, I needed to mention something. There are times when when it comes to the responsibility of the parents, other things that the court considers is mental and emotional well-being. So I have also seen women that have lost custody of their children because they just don't have their shit together. Some of them are mentally ill. Maybe they're going through depression, bipolar disorder, or other things that would threaten the well-being of that child if they were to be given full custody. And in that case, if the father is not in a position to take full custody, that child, the court can decide to appoint custody to any other member of the family, the grandparents, an uncle, an auntie, brother, sister, whatever they find fit. And also, if both parents are irresponsible and by chance maybe the child was living with foster parents or the child was living with a relative, if they have lived with that relative for at least 3 months, they have permission or a right to file for custody. And if they can demonstrate for real, this child has parents who just don't care about them, and I would love to take this child as my own and raise them, then the court is likely to give that individual full custody. So just don't think because you are the biological parent that it is automatic that you're going to have full custody. If you misbehave, whether you are the mother or the father, and you're taken to court and there's evidence that you neglected your duties as a parent, you will lose your child. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions, I have put links to organizations down there that can help you if you're having custody issues. If you have any questions that you need answered, there's a group that has lawyers. You'll find the link there. There are lawyers and other people that can help you so that you have an amicable separation, and you make sure that you sort out your custody issues amicably so that your children don't suffer. If you're one of those women who you've been raising your child all by yourself, and now this dude has come back and he's insisting he wants to be in their lives and you don't know what to do, contact those people down there below this video, the description. You'll see, contact them and they will be able to assist you. The less drama we have when it comes to custody issues, the more healthy, happy children we'll have in Kenya. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video next week. Namaste.